so that we can get something a little bit more lively happening. Okay, now the reason these are all flat lines, which I call dead lines, is because everything was fixed. So now let's change this so that it reacts to pressure. Okay, so all I'm doing is to change to the pressure, add a point, I'm going to apply the strokes. You see that I got a little bit thicker, but because the pressure sensitivity wasn't on, there's nothing happening. It's still a dead line. Okay, now let me show you light pressure, harder pressure, light pressure, harder pressure, light. And now you got something that really looks good here. Harder pressure, light, hard. And again, so now it's reacting to the pressure that I'm placing on the stylus here. So, and that's what you want if you want to draw, because this stuff to the left doesn't look like anything. It's nothing. So you want to have some variety. Now, to really make it match your drawing style, you want to adjust your drawing tablet or drawing monitor. So with the bamboo, this works with the bamboo or the Wacom tablet or any other drawing tablet. Here I have it set to firm. So let me show you what happens when we go from soft to firm. And let's start it soft. And let's go back to our drawing here. Okay, now, so I have it as soft, and I already have the preferences set in the blob tool. And you can see there's not much happening at all. So let's move this over a little bit more. Let's see. And again, I'm applying pressure, a light, hard, light, and again, not much happening. Okay, so let's go over a little bit to the firm side and see what we get here. Light, hard, light, hard. Okay, now that's working a little bit better. Now I'm getting some excitement in the line. Okay, move it over a little bit more. And light, hard pressure, lighter pressure, hard pressure, lighter pressure. And that's much better. And you can see the difference between the strokes, between those strokes. Now let's go all the way to firm, which is what I prefer. Light, hard, light. Okay, there. Now you can see the difference from soft to firm. When it's soft, nothing's happening. But when you have it at firm or on the firm side of the scale, now you got a party. Now you got something going on, and that's where you want to be if you're drawing, and you want to match the way you draw. So again, use that in conjunction with the brush tool options, the two together. The tablet options, the monitor options, the Cintiq, or whatever touch screen you're using, and work those together to make it look the way you want. Now let me show you how to create a new brush. Okay, I'm going to create a new calligraphic brush here, since that's what this topic of discussion is today. And I'm going to name this Howard, because I like to name things after myself that are inanimate. And this is because it's my tutorial. I can name it what I want. You can name yours what you want. Okay, so I'm setting, I'm going to change everything here. Last time I just changed pressure. Now I'm changing angle to random and roundness to adjust to the pressure. And I think I will change the size here to 6. Change the pressure. And the variation, go to the max, so 6. Okay, let's click OK. And now let's start drawing. Light pressure, hard pressure, light, hard, light. Okay, so you got a line that is still a path, and you can see I could change the size of it because it's a path also. So 2 point, and you can make it smaller. So it's 0.75. And you can see under here that my brush appeared in the tool palette. So let's create another new brush. Okay, and I'm going to name this one medium because I'm going to create very little variation here. Okay, I'm going to change the angle to 70, leave it at fixed, and change the roundness to 70, leave that at fixed also. And I'm going to change the size of the brush to 3 point and change it so it reacts to the pressure. And I want the variation to be below 3 point because I want minimal change. So you can see that there. So, all right, now let's see what this looks like. So light, hard pressure, lighter pressure, harder pressure, lighter. Okay, so you see there's not that much difference between the hard and the light. And you can see the brush got added here. Now, let me go back to my Howard brush, and you can see when I'm really pressing hard, there's a real difference between the light. So you can see this here, and that's not going to happen with the medium brush. So the Howard brush gives me more variety and fits more the personality and gives me more things. So let me show you the eraser tool. So whoa, does that? Let me say that again. Whoa, this is not what I want to happen when I erase a line, because it totally took all the thick and thin and the strokes away, all that liveliness. So how can I keep that and use the eraser? I'll show you. I'll show you one by one, because repetition helps. So I'm expanding the appearance of this, and now this is not a path anymore. So click that, expand the appearance. Now it's a shape. Click that path, click that path and expand it. So now these are all three of these are shapes now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, all shapes. Now when I go to eraser tool and I erase, boom, it stays the way I drew it. It doesn't shift or change or lose any of the attributes of the thick and thin. I can go along the line. I can make that point a little bit sharper. So now the eraser tool works well. Again, it works like a raster, the way we're in a raster program, like Photoshop or Painter. Okay, and that's what you want. You want something that has a natural feel to it. Okay, the path eraser tool, which I showed you worked earlier, doesn't work if it's not selected. So that's something I should have told you earlier, so now you know. So you have to select the path first and then use the path eraser tool. Okay, so let's move on from there. And Calligraphic is done. So now let me show you this in action. Okay, here's a drawing that I did, and with all my brushes that I use, you know, fit my drawing style. So it's all here. Now let me show you what it looks like with a dead line. And whether it's digital or working in the real world, most amateurs start drawing like this, you know, with a flat, uninteresting line that shows some personality. Here you see it curves to the form. You know, this is a very interesting line, and it's not just lying there, because a line is not a line when you're drawing. It's creating form and shape and shadows and edges. It's a contour, and it's doing a lot. You know, here you see this dead line here. Here you see something more interesting here. Here around the glasses, you see these flat, and especially in computers, it's very flat and uninteresting. But now I got a thick and thin here, which looks a lot better than what's over here. You know, because you can all have these flat, sharp edges. And you see with the hair, again, it's just not working. You know, but again, an amateur may just use this and think they're doing something. So this is what you want. You know, so make a brush that matches your drawing style and the way you would draw it in the real world. You want the digital world to look the same, because no one can really tell that drawing wasn't digital. So here's your homework assignment. Now make your own brushes. I want you to trace over this cup, which you've seen earlier, and keep in mind that anything that's closer to the light is going to have a lighter line. Anything on the side is going to have a darker line, and you have a lot of variety of shape in this whipped cream here. To create some brushes and thicknesses and thinness with your brushes. So create some variety, you know, create some shadow, create some shape, create some form. Okay, now, you didn't think I would do something, leave these shapes unattended. So let me show you one more thing before I leave you for today. And let's add a stroke around these shapes. I make that a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to show you that you can add brush strokes to these strokes that are already created, even though you're not drawing them. So I can add the 5-point round, and to the square, you know, can add any number. You know, see what it looks like. You might find something surprising, like, hey, look at that with the flat one. Okay, so try that again, and with the heart. So you can get some interesting effects, you know, just by playing around and seeing what happens with them. Okay, so let's go to our little apple here and apply the stroke. And again, you get a nice, interesting line. This is more designy and graphic. You know, it doesn't really follow a light source. You put it over here. Now, if you can see that the 1 point in the control panel is still 1 point, even though this is a 5-point flat brush. It's because that's the default. So always show up at 1 point, and you can change that in the control panel to something smaller or larger. All right. So that's it for today. And remember. Play around, create your brushes, and have fun. So do that drawing. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, just create.